Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast, the podcast where the younger fans of the footballing world have a footballing opinion, and we discuss it and we talk about it. And today is a very special day because Oxford United have had their fixtures announced for the 2020-21 season campaign, which is very exciting. As an Oxford United fan, I'm very, very excited to see what those fixtures are like, if we've got any really difficult months and standout months and stuff like that, what our opening day of the season's like, what our opening couple of fixtures are. We're going to look at them right now. I haven't looked at them yet, so I'm going to look at them right now. So I'm going to come up here and I can see here that we have got Lincoln City away in the opening day of the season. My initial reaction to that is that it's not going to be an easy game at all. I mean, Lincoln City have our old manager Michael Appleton as their head coach at the moment. We know what Michael Appleton can do in the dugout. He's a fantastic manager, of course. Got us promoted from League 2 to League 1 about 3 seasons now, isn't it? 3 or 4 seasons now ago, and generally a fantastic manager. Last season we won 6-0, obviously away. That was before Michael Appleton took charge. That was the game before Michael Appleton took charge, and then we played them at home under Michael Appleton and we won 1-0. So 2 wins against them last season, home and away. 7 goals scored against them over those 2 games and no goals conceded. So my initial reaction to that is very successful off the basis of last season, but if we're speaking about this season now, it's not ideal. It's not it's not ideal. We can beat them. I'm confident we will be able to beat them. If there is a Lincoln City fan or Lincoln City fans are watching this podcast or anything like that, leave a comment down below. I don't know exactly how their recruitment's gone and who they brought in and who they've let go. I know they don't have Jack Payne anymore, who was at Lincoln City last season. Obviously, he was actually at Oxford United 2 seasons ago. I know they don't have Jack Payne this season. I know he's gone somewhere else. I can't exactly remember where he's gone, but I know that Jack Payne isn't playing for Lincoln City next season, because I remember seeing that, only because I know the name Jack Payne because he used to play for us. But other than that, I'm not sure the players they've brought in. I'm not sure the players they've got out. Obviously, this is Michael Appleton's first transfer window in charge of Lincoln. No, he got January last season. Sorry, but I'm talking. This is his first summer transfer window at Lincoln City. So will he be able to bring in those top quality players that he wants to bring in? And I mean, he brought in some fantastic players for Oxford United. Of course, Lundstrom, Ledson. He brought in Roof, I'm pretty sure, as well. So he brought in some very, very good players for Oxford United 3 or 4 years ago now, and they've gone on to do some fantastic things. Of course, Lundstrom, Baldock, both Lundstrom and Baldock playing in the Premier League now for Sheffield United. It was Michael Appleton that brought those 2 to Oxford United as well. So he's got a fantastic. He's got a very, very good record with bringing in top quality players to the side. So if he can do the same with Lincoln as he did with us, I'm sure they've brought in some good players. Obviously, bearing in mind this is a coronavirus market, as we mentioned on quite a few episodes of the podcast. The things are having to be looked at differently in terms of transfers due to the coronavirus. Teams not having as much money. And Oxford United are no different. I'm sure Lincoln are no different as well. So I'm not sure what they'll be able to do. But in terms of loans, I'm not sure how the coronavirus will change the fact that loans are being brought in. Obviously, Oxford United brought in 1 loan so far, but Lincoln, I'm not sure how many players, if they have brought any players in. I'm sure they would have done. But my initial reaction to Lincoln. First game of the season. I'm not going to go too much into their team and not going to research too much about them until sort of the pre-match preview to the Oxford United game, which will be a podcast coming out before the Lincoln game, which isn't long away now. Obviously, only 2 weeks. 2 weeks until that game, so exciting times ahead for Oxford United and for the world of football to see Oxford United back in league action since the playoffs. Desperate to see us win some games and to get a good start to the season. Of course, that's the main thing. And the second game of the season is Sunderland at home. My initial reaction to that is that's going to be another difficult game. Those are 2 very difficult games. Lincoln, we beat them twice last season, like I just said, but away from home. It's never easy. It's never easy to play a team away from home, of course. I certainly wouldn't want to play a team away from home. So that has to be beared in mind for sure. But Sunderland at home, a nice little home game against Sunderland. I say nice little home game. It's the opposite of that. It's a very big and a difficult home game. Last season was 1-1 away from home. That was actually on the opening day of last season, and a 1-0 home defeat last season as well. So the last time we played Sunderland at home, we lost. I actually remember I didn't actually go to that game last season. I was away, but I remember my brother went to that game. And some other members of my family went to that game, and they said that was one of the worst performances that Oxford United have put in last season. So hopefully we don't have anything like we did last season at home against Sunderland. Last season we also played Sunderland in the Carabao Cup as well, which finished 1-1, and then we beat them on penalties. So I technically count that as a draw in terms of if it was in 90 minutes of football, it would be a draw. So 2 draws and a loss, or technically 1 win, a draw, and a loss if you counted a penalty shootout against Sunderland last season. So all the possible scenarios in terms of results we got against Sunderland last season. So it's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. They are the actual current bookies' favourite for the title as well. So no, look, it's not going to be an easy game. That is a very, very difficult game against Sunderland, first game of the season. At home, I guess, is the advantage, but an away game against Lincoln's not easy at all, and then a home game against the title favourites in the second game of the season is very, very difficult. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. Sunderland are a very good side, I'm not sure how that is going to go, but we'll move on to the next round of fixtures in League One for Oxford United. And our next game of the season on the 26th of September, a Saturday. All these games are on Saturdays, and all these games are literally Saturday, week after. So no midweek games yet. And we're playing Accrington Stanley away on the 26th of September. Initial reaction to that, Accrington Stanley. I can't actually exactly remember where they finished last season, Accrington Stanley. I don't think they were in a relegation battle. Something wants to tell me they were mid-table last season, but my reaction to that is another away game. That's the initial reaction, isn't it? It's an away game against Accrington Stanley and away from home. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Away games for Oxford United generally last season were okay. Of course, to finish fourth in the league table is always a sign of getting good results away. Obviously, if you want to be up there, you have to win your away games as much as your home games, of course. So honestly, it wasn't horrific, our away form last season. It wasn't bad at all. It was pretty good. But there's Accrington Stanley away. There's just something about that scares me. I'm not sure why. It's not an easy game, but no game in this league is easy, of course. We know that. I think everyone knows that. If you're a League One, if you support a team in League One, or even in League Two and the Championship as well, it's not an easy league. It's a very difficult league to actually get out of. For sure. Accrington Stanley 17th in the league table last season. They finished on 40 points, actually just below Lincoln in 16th. So if you go off last season's league performances, we've got Sunderland obviously finished in 8th. So we've got in terms of last season results, we've got a team in 16th, 8th, and 17th. Which doesn't sound as bad, but for some reason, something tells me Lincoln are going to put up a really, really, really difficult game under a manager now who's had that time to really put his footprint and his stamp on his side. And we know the football that Michael Appleton wants to play. It's very nice football. He did it for Oxford United for a couple of years as well and got us out of League One. So we know the football that he wants to play, and we know the way he wants to play. He's a very, very good manager, and I'm sure he'll be no different for Lincoln City as well. And now he's had that sort of half season to be able to do that. He's now got his first summer transfer window, like I just said, and he's going to be there now. He's been there for a little while now. So yeah, 16th for Lincoln last season and 17th for Accrington Stanley last season. Lincoln finishing on 42 points, Accrington finishing on 40. Goal difference of 17 and 15 as well. So no minus. No minuses there as well. Oh, sorry, no, that's not goal difference. That's losses. Lincoln City actually got more losses than Accrington Stanley last season. They had a goal difference of -2 Lincoln and a goal goal difference of -6 Accrington Stanley. Actually, so yeah, I mean 16th, 17th doesn't sound as threatening and as difficult as some might suggest, but for sure, Lincoln are going to be a difficult side, and away from home they can of course deal some damage. Of course they can. We know that. Accrington Stanley actually finished their season on a win. Obviously, before it got postponed, they finished on a win, and Lincoln actually finished on a defeat last season as well. So I know, obviously that is pretty irrelevant in terms of last season because it got finished, and for those teams that didn't play playoff football, that is a very, very long time ago now. But be interested to see the recruitment that those two have brought in. I'm not going to lie, obviously this is a live reaction to my the League One fixtures, so I didn't do too much research. I didn't know those two too much about those two in terms of who they've brought in and that. But yeah, bookies' favourite against Sunderland also at home as well, who obviously finished in 8th. Who finished their last season on a win as well. So interesting. Very, very interesting. That is September then. That is Lincoln Oxford United versus Sunderland, Accrington Stanley versus Oxford United in September. I'm not going to go through every single fixture. I don't want to bore you. This is just my initial reaction to that. We've then got Crewe Alexander on the 3rd of October at home, which is very, very interesting. Crewe Alexander obviously got promoted from League 2 last season. So obviously Oxford United are going to have to be on their top form to beat Crewe Alexander, a team that come up from the league below, of course, are fighting and desperate to stay in the division as well. No doubt about that. So we're gonna have to be very, very good and be on our top game to beat them, and that's on the 3rd of October. But then we've got an EFL Trophy game that isn't actually League One, but we've got an EFL Trophy game against Bristol Rovers. Then we've got an away game against Gillingham. Of course, we drew that game away 1-1, wasn't it, last season? Tariq Fossey got his last goal for Oxford United in an Oxford United shirt before he went to move to Brentford, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was a draw, if I'm not wrong. Peterborough away, back-to-back away games for Oxford United. The first back-to-back away game for Oxford United in the campaign against Peterborough. Of course, beat us pretty heavily, 3-0 last season at home as well. 3-0 or 4-0, I think it was 3-0, I want to say. That was not a good result for Oxford United. So Peterborough, of course, and also they missed out on top 6. Which obviously for the playoffs, so they will be very, very disappointed with that. Very controversial, as it was obviously off points per game. So they will definitely be fighting and desperate to get into this playoffs this season. Then we have a home game against Milton Keynes, and then the big one, the biggest game of the season, in my opinion, for Oxford United. Oxford United versus Swindon Town at home on the 24th of October. So 24th of October, we have a very, very difficult game against Swindon. I must also stress as well, the Tuesday game, Tuesday the 20th of October, is the Milton Keynes game at home as well. That is actually a Tuesday night, and then the Saturday after that, it is Swindon at home as well. So Swindon, not an easy game. Obviously got promoted last season. They're going to be desperate to get one over us. 7 in a row. I think we must stress 7 in a row for Oxford United against them. So they're going to be desperate to stop that. For sure as well. So yeah, Swindon Town at home on the 24th of October. Then we move to the 27th of October, so the Tuesday after. So we are now getting into that stage of the season where it's very, very quick games. I'm talking Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday. Because we have a Tuesday game straight after the Swindon game against Charlton Athletic, obviously relegated from the Championship, hoping to be promoted back to the Championship. Charlton Athletic, obviously Carl Robinson's old club, left Charlton 2 seasons ago now. This is his second full season in charge of Oxford United, so it would have been 2 seasons ago now. And yeah, Oxford United versus Charlton. But the other way around, Charlton versus Oxford, because Charlton are at home. So a very, very difficult game against a relegated Championship side. And then another away game as well against a team that we can't win. can't win against, the bogey team that we can never find a way of beating. Hopefully we can change that on the 31st of October, the Saturday, against Fleetwood Town as well. So that is a very, very difficult difficult run of games, really. I mean, I'm talking from the 10th of October, generally just October. October is a very difficult game. Basically, from the 10th of October is a very, very difficult run of games. Away to Gillingham, away to Peterborough, then a home game against Milton Keynes. That, you know, they're a good decent side, Milton Keynes. I'm sure they'll be fighting again this season to be challenging, of course, as well. Then they're never an easy game. So we're obviously going to be taking the points there as well. That's a difficult game. Swindon versus Oxford United versus Swindon as well. That's a rival game, of course. Swindon on paper probably aren't as good as Oxford United, or definitely aren't as good as Oxford United in my opinion. And that's just not a rival fan opinion. Oxford United are pushing for Championship. Swindon have just been promoted from League Two to League One. But you know, when you play against a rival, that level does just increase slightly or quite a lot. Swindon will definitely want to be trying to push Oxford United and really want to show Oxford United why. They're not going to be beaten 8 in a row this season. Obviously, that has had to briefly stop while we were in different leagues, but now we're in the same league again. They're going to be wanting to show us why they don't want to be beaten 8 times in a row. And then Charlton away and Fleetwood away. So you know that is a very difficult run of games. Gillingham away, Peterborough away, Charlton away, and Fleetwood away, all in 1 month, October, the second month of the season. That is a very, very, very difficult month. Obviously, yeah, there are some home games in there as well, but even the home games are not easy. Milton Keynes and Swindon. But, oh, God, these are some difficult results. Fixtures where we need to get some big results against them. But away games like that are not going to be easy, without a shadow of a doubt. At all. Then November starts with Oxford United at home to Rochdale. We have an EFL game against Walsall away on the Tuesday night. And then the Rochdale game's on a Tuesday, and then we have a Tuesday night game as well. So no Saturday game in between the 3rd and the 10th. We have Walsall away in the EFL Trophy, and then back into the league on the Saturday against Doncaster at home. Again, hopefully be taking the points there. Wigan away, and then Portsmouth away as well. Why does it seem that we have lots of away games? I'm reading these fixtures literally for the first time, and just the initial reaction is obviously we do have the same amount of away games. It's not I'm not stupid, but you know, why does it seem like we have so many away games in a row? Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, in November, I mean October was a very difficult game in away games as well, but November as well, 2 home games in the league. I mean it's 2 home games, 2 away games, but I mean it looks worse because we've got an AFL away game as well. But I guess 2 home games, 2 away games in the league at home. They just look worse, I guess, because there is an away game in the AFL Trophy, and we have 2 home games in a row, and there's then 2 away games again, back to back against Wigan and Portsmouth. But we know Pompey. We know a lot about Portsmouth. We know a lot about Portsmouth last season. So a Pompey visit on 24th of November, not going to be easy, of course. The month that is going to obviously, hopefully, not cause problems for Oxford United, but on paper, a very, very difficult month. I said I wasn't going to go through all the fixtures. I'm probably going to end up going through everyone. I'm not going to. Obviously, I went more in depth on the Lincoln and Sunderland one because they're the first 2, but I'm just going to quickly skim through them and just see each month. So we move to December now, the Christmas month. 1st of December, we have Ipswich at home. Obviously, we beat Ipswich away 1-0 last season. Matty Taylor getting the goal, and we drew 0-0 on that absolutely horrific day of weather at home last season as well. I remember it was postponed about 3 times, and we were very, very close to walking out. Well, we weren't going to walk out, but you know, if the game was postponed, we're going to walk out. And I think that was very, very close to that. I remember the ref just kept picking up the ball, throwing it against the floor to see if it would bounce, and it just wouldn't bounce. It would just splash into a puddle. But somehow the game carried on. We had a warm up in the middle of a game about 3 times, so the players could stay warm for the game. And the game did actually carry on in the end, but it was 0-0. So a very memorable night. Not for the 3 points, just for the weather and the fact that we sat in that absolute horrific weather for a 0-0 draw. But anyway, we beat them away, so that's okay. League One on Saturday, the 5th of December. Sorry, by the way, that 1st of December is on a Tuesday as well. So that's a Tuesday night game. At 7:45 against Ipswich at home. Then we've got Saturday. We have back-to-back home games. Saturday we've got Hull City at home. on Saturday the 5th of December. Then no Tuesday night game, straight to the 12th of December when we travel to Blackpool. That's not going to be an easy game. Obviously, Blackpool did actually approach Carl Robinson as their manager, but in the end, they got that Liverpool under 23s manager in the end, didn't they? Blackpool versus Oxford United on the Saturday. Then we have a Tuesday night game on the 15th at home to Northampton. Of course, they've just been promoted through the playoffs as well, so they're going to be desperate to stay in the league. So that's not going to be an easy game at all. I also think they are a bogey team of Oxford United as well. I'm pretty sure we do struggle against Northampton. Something I want to say that for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I do have a feeling Northampton we do struggle to beat. But anyway, we got to try and beat them then on the 15th of December. The 19th of December, we're away to Bristol Rovers, a very difficult game, of course, there. Then we have a home game against AFC Wimbledon, who we obviously have in the Carabao Cup first round. That is a home game on the 26th of December, so Boxing Day. And then the 29th of December, we have Plymouth away. So we have so Boxing Day is at home. We have a Boxing Day home game against Wimbledon, which is very, very nice. And then Plymouth versus Oxford on the 29th of December. So a nice Boxing Day game for Oxford United. Does that mean we have New Year's? Oh no, is there no New Year's Day? Is there ever a game on New Year's Day? For some reason, I thought there is a game on New Year's Day. New Year's Eve, we have a game away. Right, anyway, 2nd of January. So the second day of the year, we are away to Burton Albion. Which is always going to be a very difficult game. Going away to Burton is never easy. Saturday the 9th of January, the 9th day in January. I'm not going to say that every month of January, every day of January, I promise. We have an Oxford game versus... An Oxford game? They're all Oxford games, Jack. We have a home game against Shrewsbury Town. And then on the 16th of January, we've got Northampton away. And then Saturday the 29th, we have Oxford United at home to Bristol. What? There seems to be a lot of Bristols. Or am I just... Oh, I'm tripping. Oh god, I've had a stinker though, boys. I've had a stinker. It's not actually that. I've read it twice. We have Northampton away, then Oxford United versus Bristol, and then we have Rochdale away on the 26th, and then we have a home game against the bogey team, 30th of January. We have Oxford United versus Fleetwood there as well. So roundup of January, that's an away game, a home game, an away game, a home game, an away game, and a home game. So home away in January. Some difficult games away there to note as well. Rochdale away, who are actually tipped to come bottom of the league. But by January, you'll have a real feel of the table and how things are going. To be fair, it'll probably be before January. Before January, you'll have a feel of how the table's going to go. But Rochdale are favourites to go down this season. Hopefully for them, they don't. But we have got to play them on the 26th of January. February, away to Doncaster, then at home to Wigan. Obviously, the last time we played Wigan at home, we lost 9-0, wasn't it? 9-0 or 8-0 at home, which was horrific. I remember being there, and that was one of the worst days of Oxford United days of my life, losing 8-0. I think Will Griggs got about 4 goals. Obviously, doesn't play for Wigan anymore. He plays for Sunderland. I'm pretty sure he's still at Sunderland. Then we have away to Ipswich, obviously, like I said, we beat them 1-0 last season. Then a home game to Portsmouth. On the 23rd of February, and on the 27th of February we have Milton Keynes away. It's a long old month. It's a long old season, isn't it? March, home to Peterborough, home to Charlton, back-to-back home games there. Swindon away on the 9th of March. Then the 13th of March, it's Hull away. Then 20th of March, we are home to Blackpool. And then 27th of March, we are home to Lincoln. So 20th of March and 27th of March, back-to-back Saturday home games, which is very, very nice. April, Sunderland away. Oxford United face Accrington Stanley at home. Away to Crewe, at home to Gillingham, away to Wimbledon, and at home to Plymouth. So a very difficult month. April. May, away to Shrewsbury, and then at home to Burton. Only 2 games in May, the 1st and the 8th. That's because the end of the season is at the end of May. I wonder why it was a short month. There we go. It is the end of the season. The final game of the season is at home to Burton. Hopefully that game either means something in terms of getting into the playoffs, or getting automatic promotion, or winning the league, or we've already done it. Hopefully that game doesn't mean absolutely nothing. The only way I want it to mean absolutely nothing is if we've already got in the playoffs, or we're already promoted, or we've already won the league. I don't care. Just please, Burton at home. We finish the season off at home, which is very, very exciting. So that is the Oxford United 2020 and 2021 season in full. This is my initial live reaction to that. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the Young Fan Podcast. A bit different to the other ones. Of course, we haven't really been talking about anything in particular in terms of the footballing world, but I really want to talk about Oxford United as much as possible. I am thinking of bringing out. I am going to bring out an episode of the podcast talking about the new players coming in. I've just actually had a tweet come through as I'm recording this saying that we are in talks with Feyenoord about extending Liam Kelly's loan deal as well, so another midfielder coming in. We've already got a midfielder on loan, but I won't say or talk too much about that because I'll save that for that episode of the podcast as well. If you want to listen to the other podcasts, that would be very much appreciated. If you could leave a like on this episode of on those other episodes of the podcast, if you could leave a like on this episode of the podcast, that would be much appreciated. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Oxford United 2020-2021 season fixtures announcement. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you could subscribe to the Young Fan Podcast YouTube channel, that would also be much appreciated, and follow the Instagram at the Young Fan Podcast on Instagram. Thank you very much, people, for listening to this episode of the podcast. Hopefully you've enjoyed. I certainly have, and I'll see you later.